Hi, Lorrie Popow here.
I've come back from the 4th annual Pysanky at the Gardens, where we recorded several demonstrations from various egg artists. Because these were live events, the audio and video aren't studio quality, but I know you will still enjoy them very much.
Hi, I'm Pieter and I'm about to show you how I make Sorbian eggs. Sorbian eggs it's a tradition from the east of Germany. And a couple of years ago I was in the east of Germany and I saw those Sorbian eggs and I was just flabbergasted by the way they looked. And as soon as I got back home I did some research in Google and I found how they were made, and I was surprised to discover that the Sorbian people use feathers. They use goose feathers. I've tried them, but I don't like them that very much. I don't know why, but I discovered that using pigeon feathers or feathers from raven, how do you call it? They were fine for me, and what I want to show you is how I cut them and how I apply the wax onto the egg. So I don't have any script or something, so if you have any questions, just ask me and I'll try to explain. So, the first thing you need to do is pick a feather and that has a perfect round top. That isn't damaged at all. So this one is in a perfect shape. Then what you want to do is get rid of all those things here, and you have to tear them off. What you don't want to do is starting here and tear it all off at once, because it will, destroy the feather. So do it just like this.
If it's not round, can you cut it? Can you cut it round at the top?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
How much feather you pull off to get to the tip, does that depend on what you're planning to do, how wide or thin it is?
Yeah, you want this quill, you want it to be as thin as possible, so you're working your way all to the top. So there you already see some kind of a triangular shape. So what you want to do now is cut the feather here. But before you do that, just give it a quick dip into the hot wax.
Where are you going to cut it?
Here.
Okay, thank you.
Let that dry. Once it's dry, and there you have, I don't know if you can see it, but there you have your tiny triangle.
Very tiny.
Can you pass that around, please?
So what the Sorbian people do, they dip the feather into the wax and apply it onto the egg, and it creates, can you see it? It creates the
Yes.
white
Sometimes
triangle.
though they do the diamond shape.
They do all kinds of shape, yeah.
Does that one feather last for the endurance of that one egg?
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
even focus on
I have a few feathers
Oh,
here that are
they
my
still
favorite.
last. Oh.
Yeah, and I think there's
focus on
one,
your wedding
and
ring.
I made, I think, 20 eggs with them.
There is no autofocus
Yeah.
on this. Okay.
So they last a long
You
time,
got some
but
good
the only
ones?
thing you have to take care of is that the wax isn't too hot, because when the wax is too hot and you dip the feather in,
It'll
it'll
cook
burn.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's not hot enough,
Yeah, that's that I'm going to show.
I have to have Donna hit you.
So that was the first part. That's how to cut the feathers. Another important thing is the temperature of the wax. It has to have the right temperature, and that is just a matter of trial and error. Because well, I can't tell you the exact temperature. And the wax is a mixture of normal candle wax and beeswax. And it is candle wax and beeswax.
Is it 50/50?
It's 50-50, yeah.
Why don't you just use beeswax? It's too
But
thick.
if you buy beeswax candles, I mean,
I
what
don't
other kind
know.
of wax? Paraffin?
I've-
Does it mean paraffin? Or
I've
paraffin?
tried
Okay.
paraffin, but it
Paraffin
doesn't
is
work.
candle wax.
And yeah, but if you use only paraffin, well, I don't know why, but it doesn't work.
What
If you-
about pure beeswax?
It doesn't work either.
It
Okay,
might
Yeah.
be too thick.
okay.
Might be. So I was taught
Practice
to,
with it.
well, just to mix them in equal parts, and
Okay.
they'll work.
The beeswax would dry too quickly.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I learned it to do it with pure beeswax
Really?
from Cornelia Thorne. Yeah, she did pure beeswax.
Okay. Well, I took a couple of workshops in Germany, and this lady,
She mixed it?
Yeah, she mixed it. Yeah, yeah. So, when the wax is too hot, maybe you can zoom in a little bit.
Let's see what I can.
When the wax is too hot, when you apply the wax onto the egg, it will start to run, spread out, so it won't create triangles. When the wax is too cold, it will create this ugly
Blob.
blobs. And when the temperature's right, it will look like this. Triangles with sharp edges.
Kind of like Snow White. Or Goldilocks. One of those.
So what they do a lot,
Right.
they use, the Sorbian people, they make use of circles a lot, like in this egg. There's a circle in a circle, also half circles to create bands. And I use a template to draw my circles on the egg.
So then did you use a Kiska to make the solid, fill in the solid?
What the Sorbian people do, they use a feather. They cut it like
Make a wider thing?
make a wider thing, dip it into the wax, and then I have tried it, but I thought it's too much time consuming. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm using my Kiska. And that works perfect for me.
We won't tell the Serbian people.
Do you only make feathers with triangles? Do you make other shapes?
I make other shapes
You
as
do?
well.
Okay.
Yeah, and the process is the same, but instead of cutting it like this to create a triangle, you go like this with a knife to create, for example, a teardrop. You can also create
It's a diamond.
a diamond.
Thanks, Pat. Oh, you missed it.
Yeah. Can you bring them back, Peter?
On that egg, there's like a sunburst that has those long narrow triangles.
Is that
Yeah, what are
truffles?
those done? Are
You
those
mean
done
this?
with, yes.
Yeah, it's the drop and pull technique.
Oh, okay,
They do that as well.
okay.
But it's like this. So they make there are a lot of different patterns you can make. Just a simple one, like this, or a zigzag pattern, or you can make stars. And those, what are these things called? I don't know.
Arcs.
Arcs.
Rick
Thank
Rack.
you.
Scallops.
And then the hardest part of making these kind of eggs is that you have to dip it into the wax.
Immediately put it where you want it.
Yeah. But there is a rhythm. If you're too fast, the wax will run. If you're too slow, then it dried up, and so that's for me the hardest part.
And so is there one like dip and once and back? Is it just back and forth?
Back and forth.
Yeah.
And once you get that rhythm,
But you dip on every one?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
yeah.
Peter, I watched a YouTube video. It was a Ukrainian. It was a language I didn't know, but I was just watching. And she held the egg very close to the spoon, and her hand literally was going like this.
Okay.
But it was a rhythm.
Yeah.
It was a rhythm. The only
I think
motion-
it's Cornelia, isn't it?
Might have been for
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But there wasn't much distance
Yeah.
because that cools the egg,
Yeah. That's right.
or cools the backs.
So I can give you a little demonstration on how to do it. Just dip it. Oh, that went wrong. You see the wax is too cold because
And the egg might be too cold.
Need something closer? You need to lift your,
yeah.
Let's find something to
Would it, if you took some of your coasters and put them up, would that be too tall?
That's too high.
Yeah, that's
Put the
too
book
high.
Looking at a
under.
bad angle.
Well, you see, it's just you have to try and.
And you use that type of a candle at home?
Yeah.
Because a taper would burn down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the people put that kind of a spoon, they put it into a potato.
he has a fancy new mug from Hensley.
So before I start an egg like this, I always have just a chicken egg
Practice egg.
yeah.
Is there any shell preparation that you do?
No, I don't.
And you use regular dyes as we do?
Yeah. See, they're starting to become more precise.
Do you use the same mixture of wax, candle wax and beeswax for the drop pull technique?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's my problem with the drop pull, is
Yeah.
the wax is too...
And when you do that technique, the wax has to be really hot.
Yeah.
Well, that's my experience. So this is, well, just a normal straight line, but you can also do the zigzags. Oh.
If you make a mistake, you just work it into the design?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I cheat, and I take my X-Acto knife and
Oh, you
scratch
can
the
take
wax
it
up.
off?
Yeah. Like here, you see those drops. That's it.
Do you ever have to do anything to kind of clean that feather? Does it get too much wax on it at
No,
any point?
no, no.
Okay.
So when you have those zigzag lines, you can make stars from them. It's a little windy here. You see the wax is too cold.
It's all the breathing.
Yeah.
Can you dunk, can you dunk that wax out into something? Here, I have a paper cup.
Is it too hot to pick up?
I figured you could step on me.
There.
He just dumped it.
Oh,
You have to cut that out.
That's Donna's job.
It's a teaching moment.
Okay, is the spoon attached to the cup?
It's just stuck in.
Wedged. Stuck in.
Yeah.
Just wedged and bent.
As Linda said, they use it stuck into a potato.
The Lithuanians, when they do their job full, they'll use the spoon in the potato also. Because that's the only kind of tool they have, the spoon and...
How long do you work on an egg before you take a break?
2
Honestly.
hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
You also seem to be dipping and then wiping what you might think a little excess is on the side of the spoon.
That's right.
Okay.
But you have to do it very careful or the feather will burn.
Well, that's what I wonder. That's
Yeah.
what I've always heard people say.
What is the spoon made of? It's like a cheapo spoon that you could bend with your hand.
Yeah.
Or your mom.
Reno's your.
It's pure gold, and it's only made in one place in the world.
So you're hardly touching the side of the spoon to, so your feathers stay intact.
Still not the right temperature.
Still not.
Still too cold. You see, then you get
Uh-huh.
those.
You have another square you could put under.
You've got one on each end of that one.
Sorry?
You've got one on each end?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Just,
Stuck it in?
yeah.
Okay. Double-ended.
Okay, much better.
How long will a feather last before you have to make a new one?
But last for, with this one I made 20 eggs.
Wow.
Where do you get your pigeon eggs from? Just local or where you are, or in the park?
In the park.
In the park?
Yeah.
How big is a pigeon?
Pigeon eggs,
Not a
pigeon feather.
feather. I apologize.
They look big for pigeon.
So there you have the 6-egg
Worry
batter.
about bird mites.
From
The
there
same as
on.
a dove, a mourning dove?
Rock dove, probably,
I
more
just think
likely.
it's so
Well,
funny
I have
that
mourning
it's
doves in my
the
yard.
top end of the feather. Because
Uh-huh.
2 months ago, I worked and worked at cutting the quill and trying to put it up against an egg and be flat and show a shape. And,
When you're
okay.
using the other end.
Yes, I was using the other
The
one.
video,
The other end,
the
right?
video
You made
I watched
some
showed
nice
it out of the
pins.
middle of the feather.
Yes. Actually
And
took
it
some
was a
pins and cut them
Ukrainian
up
woman.
to make them into shapes.
I didn't say anything about the tip end. That makes more sense.
It does.
That's the way I do it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel to get updates of new videos. Visit my website at lorriepopow.com. Hugs!